Hello everyone, happy Thursday. Come on in and join me for another Inspired Fireside Chat. Today we have with us Whitney Holland, and then we will be talking about food and fitness and the importance of food, of what you eat in order to get to your goals in terms of fitness. And not everything is related to weight. So I'm happy to be back. It has been a while. I know I took a very long break, and then we changed a bit the frequency of our fireside chats. Dockets like this time of the year is getting very busy. So we're going to do it only once a month, but I promise I will be here with you guys. And then my name is Paola Shah. I am the founder and CEO of Dockets. Dockets are high performance grip socks that enhance the food brain connection and give you confidence to step in any per foot activity. And here I see my guest. Let me now. We're going to connect very soon. Let me see. Hi everyone. Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Hello, Whitney. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, with a lot of energy, because I haven't done these fireside chats for about almost 2 months, I think.
I know. I was just catching up on some last night, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being with us, and we're very excited to talk about food and fitness today, and to learn a bit about you and your path. So I usually ask my guests to introduce themselves. I don't want to miss anything important. So who is with me today?
Yeah, so I am a mom of 3 girls. They're 10, 7, and 4. By daytime, I am an online elementary school teacher, and I've done that for over a decade. And fitness is what I do in all the in-between times. Food and fitness in between. So early morning, later at night. But really it's so intertwined with every part of life. It just kind of fills in all the spaces.
Wow. And then when did you start to get into fitness? Was it before having your kids? Was it after you had your kids?
Yeah, so I feel like fitness has always been a part of my life for a really long time. I started in, I would say, early high school. I can remember doing my mom's Denise Austin Pilates tapes that she had at home. I would do those. I did dance in high school. So I would say fitness kind of started for me there. And I really, in the last maybe 7 to 8 years, have kind of started on the teaching aspect of things, teaching group fitness classes. And even within the last couple of years, my own personal journey in the way that I exercise and work out has evolved as well. So I feel like it's this ever evolving thing that's always kind of been there, but has changed just at different points in my life, that depending on what else has been going on.
Right. And then, because you're a mom, many of our followers are also moms. You're a teacher, which that has, you have an extra responsibility, and I'm assuming this is a lot of work as well. So I'm curious about what a day in your life looks like a weekday. Let's put it a weekday.
Right.
And then how do you integrate fitness, and then what food has, what role food plays in that day?
Okay, so I'll start with the first part. So a typical day, I'm assuming you mean like during the school year. The summer it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, during the school year, most of the time I am an early morning person. Not so much by choice, it's just kind of the way it has to be. So I feel like fitness is one of those things where there's a million reasons you could not do it, right? There's a million reasons that you could choose to do something else at any
Mm-hmm.
given time. But for me, I've really realized that I have to make that a priority. It's kind of how I fill my own cup. I can't fill anybody else's cup if my cup is empty. So that really helps me be able to do that. So I usually get up fairly early, around 5:30, 5:45, to either teach a class or go exercise on my own, just depending on the day. So classes that I'm usually teaching are like a bar or Pilates style formats. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm usually strength training on my own. So then once I get my own kids off to school, then I will sit down, and because I'm an online teacher, I do everything on the computer, online, working with students and their parents online. And then usually our day wraps up eating dinner together as a family. I feel like that's where the food aspect of things really ties in. I actually love to cook. I love to bake. I love to be in the kitchen. And I think I know I got that from my mom for sure, who's here. Hey, Mom. But she grew up making everything, or the way that I grew up, she made everything from scratch. And so I have inherited a lot of her love for cooking is just kind of ingrained in me. So I love cooking for my family, and really helping my girls learn, hopefully learn from an early age that food is a good thing and a tool that we can use to fuel our bodies, and doesn't come with guilt or negative emotion attached to it, that all food can fit and be enjoyed, and we can have that healthy, positive relationship with foods that we're eating.
And then, so food and fitness, you are very much kind of trying to, as I was looking at your Instagram page, trying to link both of them. And then, so what is the impact that food has in your either workout performance, or more than that, is the results? And the results, when I say results, it doesn't mean to lose weight, right? It can mean so many things are the results of or the impact of our workout. Mm. So out of your experience and passion for food, why we should pay attention to food when we are related, talking about fitness, when more people is like, yeah, I just have to eat less. So why is not that?
Yeah. So when you think about it, I mean, your food is your fuel. It's, if you put gas in a car, it will go and it will work for you. If you put apple juice into a car, it's not going to do a lot for you. So your body is the same way. Fueling your body can really either make or break your performance, whether you have aesthetic goals, whether you have a weight loss goal, whether you have a performance goal, either lifting heavier or running faster or farther. All of those things are going to play off of what you're fueling your body with. So what I like to talk a lot about on my page is really a balanced approach in all things, but especially in food. So especially the last few years, really learning a lot about the different kinds of macronutrients that are found in our food and how those different things can help you. So learning about carbohydrates and fats and proteins and the role that each of those have in helping you to address those things. So a lot of women actually really don't eat enough protein. And protein is what helps those muscles to be able to recover and to grow and to build. Not only that, but even things like helping your hair and your skin and your nails be able to be stronger. So things like that will really just help boost all of those things. I think sometimes, especially if you have a specific goal, for example, weight loss, that so many women think it's about eating less, eating less, eating less. when really that might be part of it, but also realizing that your body needs certain things in order to be able to thrive and function optimally. So you can still reach those goals while still eating foods that you enjoy and making sure that you're taking care of yourself so you have the strength to then meet the goal.
And then, so what's your experience, or what are your thoughts on the different type of diet? You know, you have keto diet, you have the intermittent fasting that became extremely popular, and people have had like different results. What are your thoughts on the concept of dieting?
Yeah, diet culture is a big thing in our world, and I feel like something that we have to um, approach with the right understanding and education behind it. Um, so when it comes to when we say the word diet in terms of losing weight, so you can say diet in the term of like I'm doing this to lose weight, or diet just more of a general this is what I eat kind of a thing. So looking at it in the sense of I'm going on this diet to lose weight. Any diet will work that you try. Anything will work if you're consistent with it and you stick to it. A lot of people think that they have to do certain diets in order to achieve certain results, like keto, for example, like intermittent fasting. When the reality is that doesn't work for everybody, especially if you're hating the process the whole time and you can't be consistent with it. So looking at in terms of a general diet sense, this is what I eat. Like I said, I like to take the balanced approach in things. So we'll flash back to several years ago when my middle child, who's now 7, she was about 1. And I had decided that, okay, I was ready to make some changes. And really wanted to take this balanced approach. I knew it wasn't realistic for me to, for example, cut out carbs completely. Carbs are really yummy. But not only that, like they act as your body's primary source of fuel. So I knew that I needed to find something to help that I could reach my goals, but not hate it the entire time. And not just that, but be able to sustain it past once the diet part was over. I know with that approach specifically, keto, people don't know how to transition back into eating carbohydrates. So they'll either just stay off of them completely for fear of gaining weight back, or dive right back into where they were, and then they get right back in that same cycle. So for me, having that balanced approach of still enjoying foods that I loved, kind of that 80-20 mentality of 80% of the time I choose foods that are nutrient dense, naturally found, and then 20% of the time chocolate chip cookies, things that I like and enjoy. So that's my personal approach to things, is that if weight loss is a goal, then it can be attained entirely not hating it the whole time. It doesn't have to be this completely dreadful process that so many people think it has to be.
Right, and I think it's about, I think you said the key word, or not only for food, but everything is consistency, right? And I think that's the most important thing. Is it's very hard to decide if something works for you or not when you just don't do it in a consistent way, but just like here and there. And then I guess also it depends on the body type. Not all bodies react the same way to different types of food. For example, my body requires carbs. I cannot live without carbs because my metabolism is so high that I will lose too much weight. And I always my issue has been, it's so hard to gain weight, right? So, but in a body where it's easier to gain weight, of course, carbs is probably not the best. So I guess it it depends. Like I wouldn't be able to do an intermittent fasting. I would lose weight way too fast, and it would be harmful for me, right? But so let's go back to that balance approach, because our digestive system needs something that is really important in order to perform, which is sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess when we talk about food, fitness, there is something
I would say that's the one that people forget about the most.
We forget about the most.
Yeah.
And it's like a good quality sleep. Uninterrupted is, certain number of hours, depending again of the body. Some people can function with 4 or 5 hours. Some other people, like me, need 7 to 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so how do you promote or help for like people to realize the importance of sleeping? Like sometimes we put our body in such a tremendous stress, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally. And as a mom, that is so hard to, especially that period in your life where your kids are little and you sleep is like hard to come. It's just hard to come by, especially when your kids are still getting up in the middle of the night. And then if you're getting up early, you're putting in these killer workouts, that is so taxing on your body for sure. And that can in turn raise your cortisol levels, which will raise your stress, which can cause other problems. I actually think that, so we haven't talked about this yet, but I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. Hashimoto's.
Oh, Hashimoto's.
An autoimmune disease. And it's interesting because they don't know exactly what causes people to get that. So you can be genetically predisposed to it, and then something can come on and turn on the switch to activate that in your body. And one of the things that they have linked it to is overstressing the body and lack of sleep. And I'll never know for sure if that's what made that switch kick on for me, but I have a very strong suspicion that it was those two things: not getting enough sleep, so my body wasn't able to recover enough, and just continuing to push through these really killer workouts. And I kind of, as I was talking about before, how your fitness journey can kind of ebb and flow depending on the phase of your life. I've really had to tune into what my body responds to best and how I recover from that. And I've really just learned over the last several years that those super high intensity workouts, I just don't thrive on. They almost feel anti-productive in some senses for me. So now, knowing that sleep has really drastically impacted things in my personal life. I mean, once you have Hashimoto's, it never turns back off. It never goes away. So now I've just really had to make that a priority in my own life. And I'm like you. I'm like a 7 to 9 hour sleep range. And there are certainly nights that I don't get that. And I pay for it the next day. So I'll really try to, especially on those days, really tune into how I'm feeling so I can work with my body instead of fighting against it, and listening to what it needs. If it needs something more of a recovery style workout that day, or what, because we want to be on the same team as our bodies. We'll get to where we want to go so much faster if we can tune into those internal cues.
So if you have to choose a type of workout, only one, which one would that be?
I would say strength training. That for sure has been something even the last couple of years that I've come to appreciate and falling in love with a lot more. I loved the low impact of strength training, but especially for women, where it will help us so much in later in life as well. As we age, our muscles actually degenerate. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's like every decade your muscles degenerate by so much. So when we get older, that's when we start to have problems with osteoporosis or different muscle issues that women tend to have in older age. So strength training is really one of those things that has such long-term benefits that if I'm picking one thing, I'm going with that.
But okay. And then, so as you know, Tuckets is all about fit, right? That one of the objectives that when we created Tuckets, it wasn't only because we found literally a gap. They were like covering the toes with take away the barefoot sensation and that connection between the feet and the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So right, we came with the alternative of open toes, and then we have brought, many designs, many new designs. But we have also discovered that most workouts or people that they don't really engage their feet in the workout, or they are not aware of the importance of the feet, being that the feet are the root of your body, and anything that happens in your body is going to be reflected on your feet. Or if many trainers that have interviewed, they have told me the same. When I look at someone's feet, I almost know what's going on in the rest of the body. So let me ask you two questions. First, what's your own relationship with your feet? And then the second question is, why do people or your clients should pay attention to their feet?
Yeah, so when I'm teaching classes, I'm teaching bar or Pilates formats. So obviously that's a barefoot format. And I wear the socks all the time, even because I've noticed they've made that difference. Even just having, and I teach in a hot studio also. So extra, extra sweaty, extra important to know where your feet are going to be on the floor. So you have that confidence that you're not going to slip in an extra sweaty environment. So at least for me, I feel like, everything goes up from your feet, right? So when you know where your foot placement should be, you know where the rest of your body should be, whether that's in a plie position or a squat position, whether we're doing mat work or work at the bar. Everything can start with that, with your foot and ankle alignment, where your knees are in relation to your ankles, where your hips are in relation to your knees. All that is, like they say, whatever that little song is, the knee bone's connected to the hip bone, like all those things. It really does start from the bottom up. So what I have noticed, even in working with clients, is if you, like as an instructor, if I can cue something that has to do with their lower body placement, then all of a sudden you can see the rest of their body come up to the position that it needs to be. So yeah, it's such a small part of your body, but plays such a huge role in everything else. And once everything is aligned, then you can engage and turn those muscles on and work things the way that you intended to work them.
Right. And the same, and one of the reasons why I created Tuckets was because when I was pregnant, and I was doing yoga, I noticed how I was so focused on my feet and not falling. And especially, you don't want to fall on your belly, right? And then I noticed in that other moms to be like had the same, like people were really like disconnected from the rest of the body because the focus was so much on the foot. And as you said, if the lower body placement is not stable, the rest of the body just cannot work. And it's all kind of body-mind connection, right? So when we created Tuckets, it was that. It's like, okay, you're going to have a pair of socks that is going to take away or going to give you confidence and allow you to reconnect with the rest of your body. And so, yeah, thank you so much for your comments, because it totally aligns with what we have also discovered along the years and the feedback that we get. We're now kind of running out of time. So I have one more question that is the question two more questions. The first one is, who has inspired you in your fitness world?
That's a big question.
What comes to your mind? That's why I asked the same questions before, because it's what comes to your mind.
Yeah,
Who
who has
comes to your
inspired
mind?
me? Oh man,
Who
I
do you
feel like,
admire?
I mean, even from an early age, like I mentioned, I did my mom's Denise Austin Pilates. I feel like that's really where my love of Pilates started, Denise Austin. And just realizing that there's this whole new way to exercise that I hadn't experienced before. Anyways, but now I feel like even on Instagram, on this social platform, sometimes it can be so easy to get caught up in this comparison game, right? Comparing yourself to other people or other larger figures that you may see. But to me, I feel like it's such a place of inspiration where I connect with so many people, even girls that I know locally who are doing things in the fitness community where I live, and other instructors that I get so much inspiration from and even confidence from them. There's like so many to name. Fiona Judd is a huge one. She's a good friend of mine, actually. Amy Williams is another one. Two that come to mind. Gosh, Stacy, Natalie. There's so many. So many. I love that we get so much inspiration. Yes. So much inspiration in this little square space.
Natalie.
Well, of course, now you asked me, and her last name would.
Body Fuzzy Bar. I think I know her hashtag.
Yeah, Wilson. That's her last name. I know her. Good friend of mine.
Oh, Natalie Wilson. I said different Natalie then. Great. Well, no, that's great. Sometimes I ask this question because I think sometimes it's important to remember or to acknowledge, who is there, who has been our inspiration. And my very last question for you is, what's your higher purpose?
Oh, that's a good question too. In this space, and really it expands out of this space, I feel like going back to that initial comment that I made about realizing that food and fitness, that they're meant to work together, right? And we have to come at it with this approach of self-love and self-care and wanting to take care of ourselves for that reason, not into hating your body thinner or starving your body thinner. All these things of places where I have been and can tell you it doesn't lead to anything productive or positive. So especially where I'm raising 3 little girls, I feel like that's my big why, is I want them to grow up knowing that their body is strong and capable and powerful, and that they can use food as a tool to help them grow and fuel, that those two things can work together, and just that balanced lifestyle approach to really form that positive relationship so they can have that self-confidence. So as cheesy as it sounds, I feel like my girls are my why. I want them to have a better experience growing up with food and fitness than maybe I had. So hopefully they can start off on that better journey.
So Whitney, could you share a bit more? I know I said last question, but you just mentioned things. Could you share a bit more, go a bit deeper? Because I think this is very important for a lot of people that are watching this or that will watch this in the future. Is tell us a bit more your own experience. And I sometimes our whys and our passions and our higher purpose come many times from challenges that we have faced. So could you share some of those challenges that push you to where you are now?
Yeah, so I feel like it really started for me in high school. I was on a dance team in high school. So obviously very, very in tune with what was going on in my body and how my body looked compared to the other girls in my dance class that I was in. I was also very much which I mean, a lot of teenagers are very easily influenced by what you may hear. So that was around the time of like the Atkins craze that was coming out. A lot of people were trying that. Even friends of mine in high school were trying that. So I started to hear these things from friends that, oh, well, carbs make you fat. You can't eat carbs because those will make you gain weight. So of course, in my teenage brain, I'm just thinking, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to do that anymore. So even things like bananas, a friend of mine said, well, bananas have a lot of carbs. So I didn't eat bananas, which is ironic now because that's like one of my favorite foods. But so really going off a lot of misinformation that I started to process in a very negative way to try to get to a body goal, into that whole kind of hating yourself thinner thing. So I struggled with that relationship with food for many years after that. And to the point of really taking my calories lower and lower and lower. At one point in high school, at my lowest, emotionally, mentally, I was trying to only consume as many calories as I could burn off. And now it makes me so like, sad to think back on that person when I've just learned so much more now about how food works with fitness. But it really took years, even into my adult life, realizing that no, food is a good thing and it helps our bodies. And if I have this performance goal or this fitness goal, food can help me get there. Like it's actually a tool that's going to help me. It's not something to be scared of. So I feel like that's where a lot of my experience comes from high school, from college. In college, I kind of swung back on the other end of that disordered eating pendulum, where because I had been caught up in this binge restrict cycle for so long, where I was restricting everything for so long, then I would binge on it. And then I would feel guilt over the binge and then go right back to the restricting. And really lasting several years. And a lot of what pulled me out of that was educating myself on real nutrition information and knowledge and what that looks like. And yeah, just going back to that, how I could use that as a tool. And in the world now that our kids are growing up in, I mean, they see and hear so many things about negative body image. And so that's something that we try, my husband and I, with having young girls, to really focus on, is that all bodies are good bodies and all bodies look different, and that's okay. And we're going to eat these foods because they help us feel good. And we're going to make chocolate chip cookies together because we like eating chocolate chip cookies, and that's fine too. So I feel like that's where my journey has taken me.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this very personal experience, and it's really, really valuable to us as moms, or anyone that is going through any eating disorder. So if anyone would like to contact you and maybe to work with you, for you to help them to navigate, the complexity that our society and kind of food brings to, or we bring with, in relationship to food, where can they find you, how they can contact you?
Yeah, so totally here on Instagram, just getfit_wit. Totally feel free to reach out. I definitely am happy to, especially on that aspect, because that I'm totally happy to talk to people about my experience, and help people, refer people who have helped me, also. Um, so yeah, I would just say reach out here on Instagram. I'm totally willing to share my experience with that, or with the autoimmune stuff, Hashimoto's, um, all of that. I'm an open book. I'll talk about whatever.
And this is great because this is exactly why I do this Instagram's fireside chats. And it's about what's behind the perfect picture, what's behind the perfect face and smile, you know. And most of the time we all have those challenges, and our engine is what made us suffer at some point, right? Mm-hmm. So this is great. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I have completely enjoyed it, and yeah, look forward to watching more of these. They're fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Now I'm not going to do them as often because you know this period of the year is quite busy and Tokens is growing a lot.
Yay!
You know, so things are getting really busy, but I still want to be here and present. So we will have it just once a month. And thank you again for being with us. And we look forward to keep, you know, in touch.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful rest of the day.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.